After all the speculation, understandable speculation, after all the conversations that people have had within the MMA community about Jon Jones potentially ducking Tom Aspinall, we officially have our confirmation of Jon Jones not wanting to fight Tom Aspinall, and it's obvious that he is flat out ducking Tom. We're going to take a look at the clip of Jon Jones today, and today we wanted to take a look at the Explore page over on X to get a gauge on how the MMA community feels about this, and as always, guys, I would love to know what you think about it down below afterwards. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, let me take you over to Happy Punch on Twitter. This is the original clip, and if you have seen it already by now, because this clip has been everywhere, just skip a minute or two, and we're going to get to everybody else's reactions on this. So let's take a look at the clip from Kevin Iole with Jon Jones.
If you defeat him, will you defend your belt against Aspinall, who has the interim title?
More than likely not. Tom Aspinall is, I don't want to say nobody.
He does want to say nobody, though. He does want to say nobody.
But he just hasn't proven anything. He hasn't done anything.
He became the interim champion and not only just destroyed the vast majority of the top 10 at heavyweight.
Here to gamble someone else making a name off of me. I'm here to compete against the guys where when we look back, 10 years from now, it'd be like Jon Jones fought this guy and that guy and this legend and this champion.
They're not going to say that about Stipe, though. The idea that Jon was ducking Tom Aspinall will live in Jon Jones' career forever, assuming that he gets by Stipe, which is most likely going to happen. That is forever going to be what people remember 10 years down the road. What they won't remember is, oh, Jon Jones beat Stipe Miocic. They'll remember that, but they'll think about like Stipe being an old man. He beat a 42, 43-year-old Stipe Miocic and refused to fight the interim champion of his division.
And this champion. If there were to be a fight of a guy that's still on our UFC roster that would be not only financially worth it, but legacy worth it, it would be Alex Pereira.
Now, that was also, in my opinion, like one of the worst things that he could have said. It's one thing to just not fight Aspinall, but I'm not going to fight Aspinall, and I'm going to take another fight that's easy like Stipe Miocic. Now, Alex Pereira is the reigning champion. He has proven himself in the UFC, but I don't mean to say easy fight as if Alex Pereira sucks. It's an easy fight within this matchup. Jon Jones is a huge, strong guy, and what would happen in that matchup is he would grab Alex, drag him to the ground, and completely control him. That's what would happen with Alex Pereira, and Jon Jones knows it, and that's why he's actually open to fighting Alex Pereira, and Alex has all of the clout right now.
We're both 37 years old. Right now, I weigh about 235. I think Pereira walks around at 240. I think that fight would go much farther on my legacy than a young man who's cool today and maybe gone tomorrow. I've just been here too long to get all excited about someone who's hot today. I'm here for legacy.
No, okay, and it's okay to be here for legacy. I understand that, but he can't keep talking about how he's here to beat the best guys. Like, oh, 10 years down the road, they're going to remember me beating Stipe. They're going to remember me beating Alex Pereira. You might as well say, yeah, and like maybe 20 years down the road, they're going to look at Jon Jones' record and say, oh, well, he beat Frankie Edgar. Yeah, Jon Jones, but Frankie Edgar is half your size and completely washed now. Yeah, but I'm here for legacy fights. I'm here for legacy fights. I'm not here to defend against a number one contender. I'm not here to defend against the toughest guy. I want somebody like Henry Cejudo. I think his name would be great to have on my record. Like, that's how it sounds when he's talking about Alex Pereira. We all know that he is just absolutely flat out ducking Tom Aspinall at this point. I always knew that, and I know that many of you watching this video as well knew that he was ducking Tom Aspinall from the get-go, but it was never more obvious than now. I think that's the worst thing that he could have said. He should have just stuck with, like, I want to fight Stipe. That's a fight that was supposed to be made, and if he were to stick this, that would be kind of okay, kind of not. It'd be different if Tom wasn't the interim champion. That's the problem, because that's the next fight that you should absolutely be making. But if you were to sit back and say something along the lines of, yeah, this is a fight that was supposed to happen. I've been very interested in it for a long time. The UFC's interested in it. Stipe's interested in it. And this is the fight that I just want. How many times are we going to hear, guys, that this next guy is going to be the guy to beat me? They never are. So I'm going to beat Stipe and I'm going to retire. That would make sense. That is at some point respectable. Again, it's not because Tom Aspinall is the interim champion, but this is what he could have ran with up until Tom actually got the belt. That would have made more sense. Not just Tom Aspinall's a nobody. I know he didn't say that, but he was getting to it. I want the easiest matchups that I could possibly find. That's fine. It's incredible to me how stupid Jon Jones thinks the MMA fan base is, and his own fans, because you still have Jon Jones fans like, John, you don't know anybody. Keep it up, champ. You don't owe anybody anything. Like, he thinks so little of you. It's crazy. It's not just what about I think, though. Let's take a look over at the Explore page and replies to all of this and quote tweets, just to get a gauge on how people are feeling about it in general. Now, there are a lot of memes. I kept a couple of them in here, but you see a lot of just Jon Jones wearing like duck slippers or something. Hey, MMA Sensei had this to say: was taking roids right and good for your legacy? Was beating your wife right? Was crashing into a pregnant woman's car right? Your entire legacy is garbage since you were a cheater your whole career, and now ducking Tom is the nail in the coffin. Honestly, kind of well said. Yeah, he wants to talk about legacy, and he's a complete cheat. Multiple failed drug tests. That's Jon Jones's legacy, okay? Nick Osterberry had this to say: your career is already marred by multiple PED fails. Imagine if Shogun said the same thing about you. When Rashad got injured and the UFC offered you the title shot in the cage. Remember that? That's exactly it. That's how this works. You have to give people the shot. You have to give up your ranking in order to be a respectable champion. Like, you can't just get the title and be like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to fight number 15, or I'm not going to fight the top 15. I want somebody that's, that one guy that's ranking number 41. That's the guy I want. Like, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, guys. Let's continue on to the next reply. And cool story, bro. Just John being a duck. It's true. And like, at this point, it is so clear that John is just ducking people. And oh my God, you know what I completely forgot to do? I completely forgot to show you what Jon Jones had to say about it. I completely forgot. Like, sorry. This is the next thing that I actually wanted to show you. Jon Jones responded to all of the criticism, okay? At this point in my career, every decision is rooted in purpose. My journey isn't dictated by hype or outside opinions. It's about crafting a legacy that speaks for itself, one step at a time. I'm here to do what's right for my career and my legacy, with a vision that's clear and unshakable, focused, driven, and in complete control of myself. The story continues, and it's unfolding exactly as I envisioned. And I didn't realize that my own reply would be up here. You must think your fans are really stupid. It's true. It's true. They must think so little of the MMA community and the fans. Like, not must. He does at this point. 100% does. Let's continue on to Dovey. Legacy would be to be the interim champion in your division. Exactly. Exactly. And you always have these replies. Aspinall needs Jones more than Jones needs him. Aspinall is the one trying to fight somebody with a bigger age gap. He's trying to fight the champion. He's trying to fight the champion of his division. Tom Aspinall's trying to fight the greatest fighter of all time. What do you want Aspinall to do? There's only one direction for Aspinall to go at this point. Ben Davis had this to say: legacy would probably be fighting the interim champion who has more divisional title defenses than you do at the moment. That's actually crazy. That's crazy. John has been around, and he has... Tom has another defense than Jon Jones. Jon Jones, how long has it been? How long has it been since he fought? Doesn't matter. Like, it's been ridiculous. Red Wolf had this to say: strange way of saying that you only want to take fights you know you will win or not challenge yourself in any way. Your legacy is already tarnished. Doing everything you can to avoid the biggest threat in your record isn't helping. Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the fuck up. All right, I will fight. I will fight. Tom, Aspinall. I will fight Tom Aspinall. I'm the GOAT. No one can beat my legacy. My legacy is unmatched. You can't do what I've been here for years. And old man Stipe is the best fight for me that hasn't done enough. Why does he keep asking for me? The best part, you don't understand. There's no one like me. I sleep good at night. You don't get it. That's true. Like, the way that John speaks about everybody, it's like, oh yeah, you guys just don't understand. You guys would understand it all. I'm the greatest. And everything he says just makes no sense, guys. It's ridiculous, okay? Yo, Jesus had this to say: Jones has proved that he's scared of Aspinall. He doesn't want to risk his unbeaten record. There's no way in hell he will risk losing by fighting him. If he barely beat Dominic Reyes, he will struggle against Tom, and he knows that. That's why he's running away. Very true. That's completely well said. Completely well said. And you still have the fans in the replies. Alex is better on the feet than Tom, and John is better on the deck than Tom. John versus Pereira, the two biggest names in the sport outside of a semi-retired Connor, is the fight to make. It is not the fight to make. The fight to make is Jones versus Aspinall, period. Period. Champion versus interim champion. The Combat Sports Matrixer had this to say: this is just a way to say I don't want to jeopardize my O, so I'm going to take fights where I have more of a chance of winning than losing. In other words, I prefer to fight a retired old Stipe over a young, hungry, defending interim champ Tom. Again, there's nothing to add to that. That is spot on with what Jon Jones is doing right now. Let's continue on to Jordan. Serious questions without the shit throwing and the duck talk. At this point, if you don't face Tom, you do not think it will leave a stain on your legacy? Yeah, he avoided Tom will forever linger to this point. Sorry, am I stupid? I don't understand that first part. It may be serious question without the shit throwing and duck talk. Maybe that's probably what I meant to say. Maybe I'm looking too deep into that. But regardless, yeah, he avoided Tom will forever linger over at this point. Yeah, he just beat old man Stipe. He lost to Dominic Reyes. That is already the conversation about Jones's record. He didn't beat Gustafsson. He's a steroid cheat. He barely beat Thiago Santos. He lost to Dominic Reyes. And what was the... Am I missing one? I'm having a blank. I'm missing one. But regardless, that's Jon Jones' legacy. It's not the greatest of all time. That's what MMA fans will forever be saying about him. They'll be talking about Khabib, GSP, those guys being the greatest of all time, and perhaps Ilia Topuria one day. The interim Inquirer had this to say, this absolutely speaks for itself. You're a paper champion that is terrified of a potential loss. So you're cheapening your legacy and the legitimacy of the heavyweight title. The whole debacle will go down as one of the biggest farces in the sport's history. Again, very true. Very true. It's interesting that you say paper champion, though. He did face these guys, but he's sculpting his career to be the greatest of all time by taking favorable matchups, by fighting guys that have been smaller than him his whole career, cheating. Things like that. So I guess you could say that a little bit. Ariel Helwani had this to say, I'm convinced Jon is just saying this stuff to rile people up, and it works. If it all goes well for him next weekend, I think he fights Aspinall next year. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. The MMA guru had this to say, Jon Jones kind of had a point about Tom Aspinall being like Johnny Walker, but if Walker in this case became the interim champ by knocking out Prochazka out cold in a minute on week's notice, then followed up by another 1-minute TKO over Ankalaev, Pereira saying he hasn't done anything. That's exactly what it's like. That's 100% what it's like. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I get the comparison like the MMA guru says, I get it, but Tom Aspinall's accomplished so much. Tom Aspinall hasn't been chinned. Tom Aspinall steamrolled everybody. And he might steamroll Jon Jones, and Jon Jones knows that. Jon Jones was injured. Jon Jones, he might be clean with the way that he looks. I will never believe that in a million years, but Jon Jones is older now. There is risk with taking a Tom Aspinall fight, and there's almost no risk in fighting Stipe Miocic. Jon Jones is absolutely at this point ducking Tom Aspinall. If anybody thinks otherwise, you are incorrect, guys. Let me know what you think about this down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you don't want to stop with the Jon Jones content, though, we do have another Twitter craziness with Jon Jones over here. I'd love to have you over that video, guys. Take care.